that is working its way east towards Cale Avenue, Kentucky Avenue as well. And again, that's just on the northwestern edge of Mount Etna. Gilead, again, you're going to be right on the edge of this as it works its way towards you. So let's continue to the south here. Again, we've got that, you can see that tornado that we've got. I know the camera's jumping a little bit, but really a good shot that Zane's got there. Nice job, Zane. Northwest of Prescott, this is our other couplet that we've been looking at. This has really, really maintained its strength. And if anything, it's only strengthened in the last little bit of time. But can I hear you, Zane? Are you up?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Zane. Why don't we take Zane full and let him talk about where he is and what he's seeing?
Okay. You're seeing this tornado here right now that's just off to the, okay, I got to check my location. I'm sorry. Northwest of Prescott. So we're a little ways north of Prescott. That's the tornado right in front of you here, folks. I think we're probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 miles straight north of town. So Lake Icaria would be just off to the west and southwest. That's the tornado right now. It's going to kind of pass by us and west. It can't be more than maybe a mile or two away. So this is northern Adams County, kind of north central Adams County. That's the tornado you're seeing on the ground, folks. It's a pretty violent one. It's not fully condensed to the ground at all times. You see, it's kind of grungy looking. You can sort of see through it at times, but it is definitely a circulation all the way to the ground. There's some rain wrapping around it a little bit. We still have winds blowing into the storm right now. So we're looking basically straight west off of what county road are we on here? Let me check my location quick. Okay, we're on County Road N61 or Quincy Avenue would be what it would be called. We are about 4 or 5 miles straight north of Prescott. The tornado is just passing by us to the west-northwest, maybe I would say less than a mile. It's going to kind of pass by this little substation here that you can see just past our stop sign. So it's continuing to truck off to the north and east. This is going to head up towards about the little town of Williamson there on the northeastern northeastern part of Adams County. So it's headed that direction right now. Robbie Rissman's moving the camera, so you can see it right behind that power line substation. Really some gusty winds coming, too, if you can see a little bit of the grass blown in the ditches behind us as well. That's your tornado. It's definitely on the ground, and it's continuing off to the north and east. We're probably going to have to reposition here now, so you're probably going to lose our shot here shortly. Because we want to keep up with this tornado as it continues off to the north and east. Again, north central, northeastern Adams County, basically a few miles north of Prescott is where this tornado is right now. Starting to move through some rain, though, so we're starting to lose visibility here just a little bit. We'll send it back to you guys. We'll try to keep an eye on this thing.
Okay, stay safe out there, Robbie and Zane. Really, really tight circulation on that one. And then we've got meteorologist Trey Fulbright with eyes on a stovepipe tornado as well. And again, that's headed towards Orient. We've got quite a few different storms that are headed that way. So let's head out to Trey and see what he's seeing right now, where he's at, and where this is headed. You can see, again, just a clear shot of a tornado down to the ground there. Do we have Trey on mic? Trey, can you tell us where you're at right now and what you're seeing?
Jason, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Jason, we are on the bend. We are on the bend of Highway 25 right now, south of Greenfield, where Highway 25 curves east toward Orient. This is a violent tornado. It is a stovepipe. It has violent motion up around the basis of it, and it is moving northeast. It's going to pass just to our west, and hopefully it stays to our west. But this is going to be moving up toward areas near Greenfield. People in Greenfield need to take this seriously. Tornado on the ground. It is moving right across our area right now, just to our west. I would estimate this is about 10 miles due to our southwest from our position. So we're 10 miles from it, looking back to the west, and you can clearly see the upward motion around this tornado, and it is just remaining in progress right now. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, thanks, Trey. Stay safe out there. So, again, we've got 2 confirmed tornadoes, and we zoom out a little bit here. that main area of circulation has really taken over. We had some circulation to the north of there. It appears that has weakened, but we're going to have to keep an eye on this area east of Corning too, because it does look like that may be strengthening a little bit. And I wouldn't doubt, with it being on the southern edge of the line and being able to tap into all that energy, that we do see that strengthen as well. So let's get another track on this storm. Again, dangerous storms have fired up here. We had the line make its way into that western edge of the state at around 2 p.m. And as soon as it started rolling in, we were seeing winds of around 70 to 80 miles per hour with some of those embedded areas of rotation. So Orient, you've got around 10 minutes. Maxburg, 24 minutes. Dexter, 37 minutes. Winterset, I hate to say it, 37 minutes as well. Earlham coming in at 39 minutes. So that kind of secondary area of rotation that we've been watching just north of there, there's still some weaker rotation there at least. But not as strong as it once was, and I wouldn't doubt that we start to see this stealing the energy from that. But that's right to the southwest of Greenfield, and I want to zoom in on the one that we've got southwest of Orient right now to go street level with you guys and show you where it's headed. But really just a tight area, very strong winds with this. Again, a lot of these do have rain out in front of them, so we've got our chasers on these. Those are professional chasers. They know what they're doing. They're trained to do this. They've done this dozens of times before. Don't try and go out and do this yourself. You could be putting yourself in a pretty dangerous situation. But there's the tornado, and you can see kind of by those power lines there, kind of perimetered by those. But 120th Street's where we're seeing 110th Street, Sycamore Avenue, that area of rotation down towards Quincy Avenue as well. And I'm going to hop out statewide here because I know we've been focusing on these storms, but really we have got a line of tornado-warned storms out there right now. And it looks like you've got a new one over there, Ann?
Yeah, we've got a destructive severe thunderstorm warning now. So this is moving out of Carroll County into Jefferson here, right along Highway 30. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, but we've got winds upwards of 80 miles per hour here with this storm. So that's why it has that destructive tag. So that's one of the higher tags that the National Weather Service puts on severe thunderstorm warning. So I want to go back to velocity here. This the area where we've got at least some of the strongest winds likely radar indicated upwards of 50 miles per hour, but there are some stronger gusts. We've also got stronger gusts within this cell as well that the National Weather Service has given us the go on 80 mile per hour winds. So we've got strong winds pushing out of Carroll County as you head into Greene County here. And if I go back just to radar, let me zoom out just a bit because we've also got another tornado warning moving into Guthrie County. I want to mention that quickly in a moment as well. But Carroll, Jefferson, again, right along Highway 30, that's where those strongest winds are. And then we'll put another track on this tornado warning because I know we've been focusing down towards Corning. But I did want to give the folks up towards Guthrie County just kind of a heads up. We had some stronger rotation. I'll put the rotation tracker on here. This was showing red, which indicates more tightening of the couplet, if you will, if there were a tornado on the ground. That has weakened in the last couple of scans as well. And I think we'll take Zane's shot of a wind turbine, and then we'll come back to me if we can. I think he's just setting up his camera. And Jackie, if you could just repeat to me what you just said, or Zane, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm hearing myself too. So we just showed you that tornado down in Adams County, northeast of Corning, north of Prescott, a few minutes ago. And now we just headed back up this blacktop here, north of Prescott to the south of the little town of Williamson. And you're seeing multiple of these big wind turbine towers that have been destroyed by this tornado. We counted at least 3, I think, if Robbie is right. And your shot you're seeing right off to the distance, there's a big fire where this tower got knocked over. These are big, tall ones. I think they're, like 250 feet tall? Well, that tornado took them out, at least 3 of them. There's no blades. The blades are all on the ground. The towers themselves have been snapped in pieces, too. So this tornado has clearly been doing damage as it's gone off to the north and east here through Adams County. So we'll send things back to you guys. We'll try to catch back up to it because I know it's still going northeast.
take a look at that storm again right now. Again, that has maintained its strength out there. You can see the clouds eventually on the back edge of this. There's quite a bit of clearing. Once you get past these storms, there's really nothing else behind this. So the threat is gone, but for the time being, that threat is still very real. You can see that area of rotation right there. I'm going to hop back over to debris because it's clearly been hitting things, and look at this debris ball that we have right here. Just to the north of Gilead, Nevinville, to the northwest of that. This is working its way northeastward. I'll zoom in street level with you here. You can see Indian Avenue, 310th Street, 320th Street, downwards towards 330th Street. So again, a situation we just do not like to see as meteorologists. A line of tornado-warned storms. I'm going to hop back statewide here, and you can see what we're working with. Destructive severe thunderstorm warning up near Carroll. Just south of there, tornado warning. We've got a few tornado warnings just to the north of Creston. And again, this line is making its way in towards the metro, so it's not inconceivable to think that we could maintain this strength as we work, especially into those western portions of the metro. A lot of what we've been seeing through central and southern portions of the state has been clear skies, and if not clear skies, at least partly cloudy, and that has really helped to maintain the strength and the juiciness of that atmosphere. So southwest of Greenfield right now, you are under the gun. You can see that area of debris that is working its way to the northeast that is likely associated with that damaging tornado that Zane had on camera. And again, you saw those wind turbines. Think of the strength it would take to topple one of those. Those try to capture wind. They don't try to fight it. And in this case, that's what happened. So that's the area of rotation that we're watching. And I'm going to zoom back out. Again, that warning goes until 4 p.m., but I would imagine with how strong this is and the atmosphere that it's moving into, we're not going to be seeing this die out anytime soon. So moving to the northeast around 50 miles per hour. Greenfield, you have 8 minutes. Dexter, 31 minutes. Diamond Head Lake, 32 minutes. Winterset, 33 minutes. Earlham coming in at 34, Redfield 37, and DeSoto 41 minutes. And we'll continue to look at some of the other areas of circulation that we have here. You can see west of Creston, there's at least some potential. I want to hop back over to radar here, and you can see really just a tight core associated with these storms. Likely have some pretty decent hail associated with them too. You can see the tornado-warned storm that we've seen the tornado on the ground, has a very strong core, likely 1.5 inch hail associated with that. So not only are you dealing with a tornadic storm, you've got ice falling from the sky on top of you too. Areas to the south, again, the rotation doesn't look quite as good. It's become a little bit more muddy, but we still have very strong rotation that's working its way west of Orient, and then some minor rotation to the northeast of Prescott. But you can see just how stacked these tornado warnings are on top of each other. There's a lot of rotating parts of this line. So if you are in the path of this line and one of the threats passes you, you could likely be in a situation where there's another one that's headed not in the direct same location, but at least close enough where you're going to want to maintain yourself in shelter for a while. Orient, that's you. Creston, you're on the edge of this, but I would be in shelter right now. If you live in Greenfield, you have to be in shelter. This is a destructive tornado. We've seen the damage potential of this. This is headed to you, and that's in the next 10 minutes or so. It's going to be crossing over Highway 25, and you can see the strength of this. So we've got that little red dot. Again, we've talked about that. That's strong rotation. And again, this is a kind of day where we don't need much rotation to bring those tornadoes actually down to the ground. So thankfully, we just saw that weaken a little bit. Let's hop over to velocity. It doesn't appear to have weakened that much, though. That core of rotation still to the south of Fontenelle. It's working its way towards Highway 25. As we zoom in a little bit further, you can see that means Lewis Avenue, 290th Street, upwards towards 270th Street, and again, eventually crossing over Highway 25. So I want to zoom out again here. We've got multiple storms that we've seen rotate, and it looks like we've got another tornado warning that's just been issued off through southern portions of the state. So I'm going to zoom in on that one now too. That area rotation we talked about just on the southern edge of the state looks like that, well, wanted to do something. And that's what we're looking at right now. So this is east of Bedford, southwest of Mount Ayr, west of 169th, Highway 169. And 40, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll put a track on that. And again, these have been moving pretty quick. So this is one of the slower moving storms we've seen today. Blockton, you've got 2 minutes. Mount Ayr, 22 minutes. Diagonal, 23 minutes. Tingley coming in at 33. Shannon City, 34. Risp, 40 minutes. And the way these storms have worked is once you get that rotation that's fired up, it doesn't take a long time for that to really tighten up and really strengthen, especially when they're on the southern edge of this line, because they're not competing with anything. And as we hop over to our velocity, again, this is a little bit further away. In fact, I'm going to hop over to a secondary radar here, see if we get a clear picture of it. Still seeing that area of rotation that we've got working its way through there. So, Ann, it looks like you're tracking that destructive severe thunderstorm warning up off to the north.
And I did want to mention that the National Weather Service did expand this destructive severe thunderstorm warning. So let me zoom out. I'll put it back on radar. You see these blinking kind of tan-colored boxes. That's the destructive severe thunderstorm warning that we're watching. So it encompasses Carroll, Jefferson, right along Highway 30 in Greene County, and then it does include Fort Dodge up towards Highway 169 and also includes portions of Highway 20 there as you head into Webster County and portions of Hamilton County as well. So we've got just some really strong winds. We've also have hail upwards about 1 inch in diameter, so that's about quarter-sized hail with these severe thunderstorms that are rolling through Jefferson right now, right along Highway 30. I want to zoom in though, and I was trying to get a better grip on where some of these stronger winds are, and they're probably just south of Farmhamville, just south of Highway 175 here, going towards the Gowrie area and northwest of Sheridan. So where we have these almost looking like white colors, blue in appearance here, that's where you have some of those stronger wind gusts. And the National Weather Service did have gusts upwards of 80 miles per hour right in line with this storm. So you kind of see where it bows out just a little bit. That's where those strongest winds are going to be focused, and that's where you have that destructive wind potential with these severe thunderstorms. So I want to throw it back to rotation just a little bit, because we have had some rotation showing up within these severe thunderstorms. So it is possible, and I believe the National Weather Service also mentioned this, there could be a little bit of rotation within these severe thunderstorms. So right near Gowrie here, definitely want to be in your safe place, at least while this storm comes through, right along Highway 175 here, and moving towards the Dayton area. So this is moving off, I believe, at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So moving pretty quickly here. This is the north side of the line. I do want to go back down, and I think they did, so they did cancel the tornado warning that was in Audubon and Guthrie County. I just wanted to touch base on that. But it looks like that tornado warning has been expired by the National Weather Service. But we've got another area of rotation here just south of Scranton, and again, south and west of Jefferson here. Picking up on just a little bit of rotation with some of the red showing up again. So there is the potential that maybe we've got some sort of a couplet trying to develop here just to the south and west of Jefferson. So I will keep my eye on that. So far, the radar has kind of looked fairly messy up here, at least as far as tornado structure goes or severe thunderstorm structure goes. It's hard to pick out where any rotation would be in this big blob of red and purple, but when we throw on the velocity, it gives us a better idea of the winds inside the storm. So I'll keep my eye on this, Jason. I need to double check the how fast this is moving, and then I can put a track on it too.
Okay, that sounds good. You can see the storm down near Greenfield, again, has a new warning on it. Greenfield, this is right on top of you right now. We have got this storm that has been persistent. It's working its way upwards over Highway 25 right now. This is right downtown Greenfield. Please get to the basement, get to your safe space. Again, this is a tornado that we have seen with our eyes. So we had chasers on this one, and that's continuing right through the downtown area of Greenfield. So look at the winds associated with this. Very, very tight couplet that's been working its way on through. And as we zoom in a little bit further to go street level with you, you can see again, Highway 25. We've got 250th Street, 260th Street, 270th Street. This has been working its way to the northeast. And as Ann said, it was coming in at around 40 to 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to zoom back in and we'll put a track on this, and then I'll go down to the storm that's passing northwest of Lamoni. So still very, very tight couplet that we've got in place here. Stuart, this is headed your direction. Get those safety plans in place now. Make sure you get to that basement. Hopefully you got a TV in your basement. If you want to load us on our app, do that. That way you can carry us anywhere, as these storms, again, have really maintained their strength and doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm going to zoom back out here just a little bit so we can get the full speed of this incorporated with this storm track. But Adele, this is going to be right on the edge of town for you too, if this can hold together. And again, it does appear that could be the case. So we have got Stuart You've got 18 minutes. Dexter, you're coming in at 23 minutes. Diamond Head Lake, 23 minutes. Earlham, you're coming in at 25 minutes. Redfield, 28 minutes. Linden, 30 minutes. Adel coming in at 38 minutes as well. And again, that's just one of the areas of rotation we're dealing with. We go a little bit further to the south, and you can see got an area rotation down near Highway 169 southwest of Mount Ayr. So we're continuing to see even storms fire up in Missouri and start to work their way into the state as well. So I'm going to hop over to Shear Tracker since this rotation is just slightly messier, but you can see it's definitely there, and it has become a little bit more broad in that area, but I'm still going to throw a track on here for you and give you guys an idea of where it's headed and when it'll be there. We're talking diagonal 14 minutes. Tingley, you got 23 minutes. Shannon City, 23 minutes. Afton, you got 35 minutes. Thayer coming in at 40 minutes. So I'm going to go full state here. Keep an eye on the other things that we have got going on. Anne's been keeping a track on those destructive warnings that we've got up to the north, and it looks like we've got a new tornado warning that's been issued now for Adair, Adams, Dallas, Madison, Ringgold, and Union counties. So let's hop back down here again and take a look. Again, this whole line has been spinning and churning as it's made its way to the east. Just a mess of warnings as we've had so many different areas of rotation embedded within this line. We've talked about the one near Greenfield. Again, that's been the tightest rotation that we have seen right now. But that area, again, right on the edge of that polygon, and that's going to mean this may take a little bit more easterly of a track. And usually when you start to see that rotation tighten up, it does that. It has a way of digging its way to the east a little bit further. So Greenfield, again, this is pretty much on top of you at the moment. We do have more strong winds south of there, but not as well-defined areas of circulation. Let's hop back over to a different radar here that may give us a clearer picture. You can see that area of rotation near Greenfield is very strong. Going to debris tracker, still have a debris ball on this working its way through Greenfield. So this is still hitting things. This gives me a clear indication that we still have a tornado on the ground, and it's damaging things and it's throwing things up into the air, and we can see that with radar. That is right on top of Greenfield right now. Greenfield, I hope you're in your basement. If you don't have a basement, make sure that's the most interior room of your house. This is a really dangerous situation. This making its way really right over town right now. So we're talking 220th Street east towards Pinewood Avenue. You can see that debris literally encompasses the whole town. That is a massive ball of debris that has been lofted into the air. So as we zoom out a little bit further, you can see this pushing its way up towards Arbor Hill. Nonito, this is going to be just on the western edge of you. I believe this is right along Highway 25 as well. You can see it working its way down towards Orient there. So Orient, you're in the clear from this storm, but we have got more down the line here to the southwest. Multiple tornado warnings along this line that have been pushing their way northeastward. And again, I want to zoom out a little bit and give you some perspective here. This is not far from the metro right now. We've got this including Winterset. We've got this working its way, it eventually could even work its way west towards Lake Panorama, upwards towards Perry. Again, so downtown could be in the crosshairs of this thing. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It could pass just to the northwestern edge, which could put it through Ankeny, upwards towards Ames, maybe even upwards towards Boone. So again, dangerous situation continuing to unfold here as we've got multiple areas of rotation, many tornado warnings associated with this line. And again, moving into a fairly untapped area where we had at least clear skies, and a lot of instability in the atmosphere to support these storms. So let's hop back over. I want to hop to debris and just see if there are any other indications as clear as the debris ball that we had up near Greenfield, which I'm not thankfully seeing anywhere else. That is one of the clearest indications that we can have that a tornado's down and it's damaging things because, again, that lofts it up into the air. But again, we may be seeing a little bit of a drop out southwest or south of Creston there along 169. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And we'll hop back over to velocities here. And you can see there are some areas of rotation down there. So again, something else that we're going to have to keep an eye on. But as we've stepped through the day here, again, that line made its way in, and we have got multiple supercells embedded within this line. That line moving around 50 miles per hour. So it's going to move through pretty quick. It's not going to be one of those situations where you're going to be sitting there under a storm for a long time. But the power that these pack, again, they don't need to sit over anywhere for really any amount of time, as they've got damaging tornadoes on them and even damaging winds. So I'm going to hop back over to our velocities here. We'll keep an eye on the rotation that we have got. Again, you can see that one that worked its way through Greenfield. And I'm not sure what you're looking at over there. I'm going to kind of reorient myself here, but
that's fine. You can send it over to me. I was just keeping an eye down towards southern Iowa, where Jason was just talking about, because the National Weather Service did say there was a confirmed tornado just south of Creston, and I believe that was right over the Kent area. That's where we had some stronger indications of rotation. Here's Creston, then we've got Kent here. Just along Highway 25 or just to the east of it. There was a little bit of red showing up here in this particular area, so that gave me kind of an indication that I wanted to focus there. But within the last couple of scans, it looks to have weakened just a touch here. But there is rotation basically right over Kent, and you're in that tornado warning. So if you're in Kent, you should already be in your safe spot, lowest level of your home, in most interior room of the lowest level if you can. But Creston also under the gun here with the tornado warning, and we've got, again, several areas of rotation within this line, as we've been kind of pointing out. So there's a lot of areas where there could be spinning within the storm and potentially a tornado on the ground as well. So again, Kent, be in your safe spot, and then again, up the stream or up down the line here from this storm. As it heads towards Creston, this is going to move off to the north and to the east here. And again, these storms have been running anywhere from 40 to even 65 miles per hour as far as their speed goes. So they are moving fairly quickly. They're going to come in and come out rather quickly as it continues to push off to the east. A ton of lightning on this line as well. And we've also got torrential downpours here with all of these storms. So the most active area of this line right now, where you see all the red boxes, those are all the tornado warnings that we have going. Again, this is approaching I-35. Also approaching the metro area, and then we have the destructive thunderstorms ongoing up towards Carroll, Fort Dodge area as you head into portions of Hamilton County, Webster County as well. So this is the area where it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in Fort Dodge, Carroll, anywhere in between there, we've got winds or gusts as high as 80 miles per hour with these storms here, and also some hail up to about quarter size in diameter. So those are going to be the threats that are ongoing up there. There's been a little bit of rotation, or at least indication of rotation near Fort Dodge, near Jefferson. So we're keeping our eye here as well. But the main threats with those tornado warnings are further south. We'll go back down there, and we'll do another quick track for you here. This is really just lining up right over Creston as you head further south, right along Highway 169. So again, these are all moving anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour here with those strongest winds coming in the blues and the very bright whites that you see showing up here on the velocity. I'll go over to impacts here fairly quickly just to get an idea of, we've got some hail reports as well. In the black, I believe here will show you, at least radar indicated that little circle of black just south of Creston, upwards of maybe 2-inch in diameter hail here. This is just south of Creston. Afton, you're not included in that warning, but you're right there at the apex of these tornado warnings as they intersect. So I would just be in your safe spot as well as this line continues to progress off to the east here. And we've got, again, several spots where it's showing up in rotation, or at least radar's trying to indicate of some sort of rotation here, and that's some moderate rotation stretching from, say, Creston down through Mount Ayr. So anyone right along Highway 69 here between Creston and Mount Ayr, just be in your safe spot as this line continues to move off to the east here. Jason.
Yeah, and you can really see on velocities, it's almost like just an eddy of rotation. You've got some northeast of Creston, west of Afton, northwest of Shannon City. So this whole area we're going to have to keep an eye on. Appears the strongest little area of rotation right now is northeast of Creston, at least on that portion of the line. But you look up near Greenfield, and this storm, really maybe the storm of the day, at least so far, the winds that are associated with this are intense. And we still have a couplet on this, but I want to sample some of these winds because sometimes this software, I tell you. But some of these winds have been just incredibly strong. You can see the bright whites and the bright pinks here. That's 82 mile per hour radar indicated winds, and we're starting to get close enough to the radar where we may actually be sampling the winds as they are on the ground. We need it to be a little bit closer to necessarily get to that, but it's still intense rotation, and you can see kind of a broad area of that to the northeast of Greenfield. So that has made its way over Highway 92. This This is continuing to the northeast. Linden, this is going to be just south of you. Again, we have got many areas of rotation that we're tracking. This appears to be the strongest at this point. So it's kind of riding the line of both of these tornado warnings. And I'm going to put a new track on it for you here. Winterset, it appears that area of rotation is going to stay to your west. So good news there. But this momentarily is going to be crossing over Interstate 80. Again, I hope we don't have any cars going along there, though I'm sure we do. Lot of rotation, has not weakened. We go to the northeast here at around 50 miles per hour. Dexter, you're coming in at 8 minutes. Diamond Head Lake, 10 minutes. Redfield, 15 minutes. Adel, 24 minutes. Dallas Center, 31 minutes. Minburn, 33 minutes. Perry at 37 minutes. We've got meteorologist Trey Fulbright up here too. Trey, you've got some rotation that you've been seeing on your video there. Where are you? What are you seeing?
Jason, we are headed east out of Macksburg back toward 169, and we had a funnel cloud back to our west, back to the west of our location. You're looking at the Storm Chaser rooftop camera back to the west, and it's a low contrast, but there is a funnel cloud, and we've got rain curtains kind of wrapping around. So a circulation starting to organize very near Macksburg. People in Macksburg should take their tornado precautions immediately.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you.
Back to you.
So still tracking that rotation east of Creston as well, and you can see that's picked up speed a little bit. That's just to the northwest of Aspen. We've talked about that kind of elongated area of rotation, and that's continuing. So we haven't really seen that weaken at all. In fact, some of those areas appear to have strengthened a little bit, and that little dot right there is where the strongest area of rotation is. And you can see that's even pulsed up a little bit. So I'll zoom in here, and we'll go down to street level. Again, this is likely what Trey has been watching. He said he was west of 160 or on 169 near Macksburg, and that area continues to rotate. Pretty tight little strong area of rotation that's working its way up towards Macksburg. So Macksburg, again, as Trey said, take those safety precautions, get to the basement, get to the most interior room of your home. You have got a rotating storm that has produced funnels working its way your direction. I'm going to go a little bit tighter in. We're going to go street level on this one, and then I'll get out and we'll do a storm track for you. But 110th Street is where this is the strongest rotation right now, upwards towards 330th Street. And as we zoom out a little bit further, Lark Avenue is just to the west of that area of rotation. This is working its way up towards 315th Street, 310th Street. So I'm going to zoom back out. Bear with me as I jostle the camera here a little bit. But again, dangerous situation. Look at the couplet northeast of Greenfield now. Wow, that is just very strong. So I'll put a track on that one next. But man, this has turned into the day that we really thought it would be. So please, Macksburg, you got 6 minutes. Winterset coming in around 23. St. Charles, 34. Bevington, 39. Van Meter coming in at 44. And again, when we get these radar scans in, it's already a minute or two old. So put that into when you're making your safety plans. Remember that. So area of rotation making its way towards Earlham. They've got a good safety days out there at their school. This area of rotation, hate to say it, is going to work its way right through town there. That Dexter, even Stewart's going to be on the edge of this. So guys, you got to be in your safe space. Have to be in a place in the most interior room of your house. Get to that basement. This rotation's pushing its way in again. Going to eventually cross over I-80 here momentarily. And we look at the shear tracker again. It's largely been a bit of a glob of rotation, but that's where it's the strongest right now, just to the south of Dexter. So as we hop between our different tools here, you can really see how that's pulsed up. And we'll get down to street level for you here and give you an idea of where the strongest of that rotation is impacting. But this is just to the southwest of Earlham. Creamery Road, 150th Street. We've got 160th Street as well. This is eventually going to be working its way towards Earlham here. Again, you've just got a few minutes, guys. Get yourself to safety right now. 120th Street, 115th Street associated with this as well. So as I zoom back out, we're going to take a broader look. We've had the tornado warnings to the south as well, and you can see that massive warning down further south of Lamoni. Still keeping an eye on some of those storms in case they start to work their way in towards southern portions of the state. But again, this is getting pretty close to the metro. This may pass just to the west of it. And you can see that area of rotation. We've talked about the area of rotation down near Creston. The one northwest of Lamoni along 169 is a little bit weaker. But as we hop over to our shear tool here, you can see it's still there. So I'm going to put a track on that as well. This whole line is just ingesting that moist air, providing energy for the storms and keeping them strong. And the rotational aspect has been there on nearly all of them. That's why we've got this line. I don't know if I have seen in my career a line like this where it is just littered with tornado warnings. That's a good little testament there to take this seriously. Tingley coming in at 1 minute. Thayer coming in 16 minutes. Murray at 21 minutes. Osceola 19 minutes. East Peru coming in 33 minutes. Truro at 34 minutes. New Virginia coming in at 38 minutes. So I'm going to go up this line a little bit further. And you can see some of those areas of rotation have weakened just a bit, but we had a little bit of a pulse of this one by Stewart. So I want to hop back over to my velocity product here, and you can see that huge area of rotation. This is continuing to unfold, guys. If you've been listening to me, maybe you're just tuning in, Stewart, Earlham, DeSoto, Redfield, the time is now. You got to get to that safe space. This area of rotation has been incredibly consistent. And I bet if we hop over to our debris tracker, not quite as clear, but we do have some dropouts east of Stewart. So thankfully, we're not seeing that tight blue dot that we usually do when we've got debris that's been lofted into the air. But there's at least some indication that we may be seeing something being picked up and thrown into the air. And as we go down this line, we don't have many more, maybe just to the southeast of Creston, a little bit of that activity. But thankfully, that appears to at least have weakened a little bit. But the rotation has become slightly broader than when it crossed over Greenfield, but very strong winds regardless. And you can just see that spot right there. We've got another one to the west of Winterset right there. We've got another one just to the south of there. It's been working its way up towards Macksburg. So Macksburg, this one's right on top of you right now. Again, winds associated with these, even if they're non-tornadic, coming in at around 80 miles per hour. So this is an intensely damaging situation. We've got very strong rotation working its way right through town. So Macksburg, please get to your safe space, and I'm going to toss it back over to you.
I was just paying attention to that same area in southwest portions of Madison County, right over Macksburg. This cell, it looks like it's kind of cycling here where it's weakened just a little bit. It was a little bit stronger maybe 5-10 minutes ago where we did query some of these pixels and we had winds coming in, at least radar indicated, upwards of 85 miles per hour. We had some of those brighter blues. So right now, coming in around 70, maybe 75 mile per hour winds here. This is, again, as Jason just mentioned, right over Macksburg, and this is moving off to the north and to the east here. Rotation, again, has kind of come and gone. It's lost a little bit of its intensity where we had some reds showing up here that was indicating a little bit of a stronger rotation within the storm. Now it's weakened just a little bit, but it's still there, and velocity continues to show that where we have those strong winds coming together and potentially forming a tornado. So I'm going to throw a storm track on this. I'll zoom out quickly because Winterset, all of Madison County are now in that tornado warning here. And this is moving out of the Macksburg area now off to the north and east at about 45 miles per hour or so. So here's a list of some arrival times for you on the screen. We've got Winterset in the next 15 minutes. Now's the time to figure out where you're going to head as this storm approaches you. Bevington in about the next half hour. Martinsdale also, you are included in this tornado warning. That's in about the next half an hour. We've got coming in the next 35 minutes. Van Meter also in the next half hour, and Waukee and Norwalk getting closer to the metro area. This storm will be in your neighborhood in about the next 45 minutes or so. So it's moving fairly quickly, as all of these storms are. This entire line has been pretty much racing out of western Iowa into central Iowa for the last 2 hours or so. We've got several areas of rotation that we're keeping a track on. And again, you've got all of these tornado warnings right along Highway 169. Again, it's getting closer to Highway 35 south here in southern portions of the state, but we've got several areas of rotation that we're keeping our eye on. I'll zoom out quickly here just to give you an idea of where the most intense part of the storms are and where the most intense part of the line is, and that's basically just south of I-80 right along southern Iowa. We still have some severe thunderstorm warnings up towards Carroll and Fort Dodge, but overall we've got the numerous tornado warnings here on the southern edge of this line as it continues to move into the metro area. So let me I'll put the velocity tool back on here and we'll give you a look at where some of these areas of rotation are. Again, we've got Madison County in that tornado warning where we had the one circulation just north of Macksburg. Be in your safe spot now. Again, Winterset, Indianola, you are also now right on the edge of that tornado warning. If you see or hear yourself or your town name without either Jason or I call out, head to your safe spot just to be safe, and then you can exit once this storm passes. But these are some intense storms that we've been watching, a couple with debris balls as we've been talking about up near Greenfield, that was one of them, but several areas here where we've got little blips as rotation and circulation here within the line of storms. So let's go back down to some of the velocity here. Again, out towards places like Afton, as you head down towards Shannon City, Lorimore as well, you are also included in that tornado warning. And these storms, again, racing off to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So let me put another track on these for that new tornado warning just down to the south here. That does include Osceola. So we'll put another track on this from, say, Mount Ayr up through Osceola. That's in your neighborhood in about 40 minutes, Osceola, Van Wert in about the next 30 minutes, Grand River in the next 15 minutes. So you need to head to your safe spot if you're not already there, lowest level of your house, as this tornado warned storm passes through. And then again, once it exits, you'll be able to come back out. But just take those precautions now as this storm rolls through. And again, I see one particular area that's a little bit more intense here as far as the rotation goes. This is just to the southwest of Afton and just to the southeast here of Creston. So right just southwest of Afton, we've got more of a little uptick here in the rotation where you see the reds showing up. I'll switch over to velocity and see if we've got any kind of good indication. So again, right just southwest of Afton here, this is where we potentially would see a little bit of that rotation. I'll throw on also the debris tracker, not picking up anything there, so that's good news. But some pretty strong winds where you see all these bright blues showing up. That's indicative of potentially 80 miles per hour winds. We've got 79 mile per hour gusts there, 77 mile per hour gusts here. So those brighter blues, that's where those areas where those winds are really just kind of blowing out of the storm, and those strong wind gusts were one of the main concerns, the damaging wind concern that we had in addition to the hail and tornado threat. So I'll send it back over to Jason as well. Jason.
Yeah, and the Stewart Fire Department has said that they have seen a tornado off 150th Avenue and Stewart Street. So the area that we have continued to watch, again, we're continuing to see these areas spin up, tornadoes form, and continue to work their way to the northeast. So Stewart, again, that's where you are right now. I'm going to hop back over to a different product here, and we can keep an eye on some of these other areas of rotation. Just to the east of Dexter, it appears that we have got one as well. So these have weakened somewhat. I mean, we look at the radar now compared to where it was, and they appear a little bit better. But again, the winds associated with these have been incredibly strong anyway. We're largely talking about winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So whether it's a tornado or not, these lines of storms are going to potentially be doing some damage as they've got the oomph to do that. And we zoom out a little bit further, and you can see, look at this line of storms that we have got with tornado warnings on them. So as we go to our shear tracker here, you can see this one to the north of Lamoni has been pushing to the northeast, and not as clear of an area of rotation as we've seen in the past with the storms to the north. But again, we're pretty far out with our radar. And as radar gets a little further out, that beam shoots a little bit higher, and it has a harder time sampling the lower levels to the surface. And that's where we rely on spotters a lot to get eyes on these types of things. So right now, we'll hop back over to impacts as well, and you can see the hail that we've got associated with these. Could be talking about 1 inch hail or so. And we did just get another report in of a tornado near Earlham. Again, that same area that we have been continuing to watch has continued to produce. So as we look at that area, again, right into Earlham here, I'm going to hop on our shear tracker here, and you can see where that prime area of circulation sits. That's just to the east of Dexter, just to the north of Earlham. That's crossing over I-80 as we speak. Redfield is going to be dangerously close to you. This is likely going to be on the southeastern edge of town. Make sure that you are in safety as well. And you can see on our camera, these storms are producing an incredible amount of rain. We were already dealing with ponding and flooding in some spots. This is only going to exacerbate things, and especially as we see this push its way up into the metro, you get urban areas, you start to worry about flash flooding. That's a definite possibility as these storms make their way on in, but that main area of rotation, you can see that now, again, has moved a little bit further to the north and to the east. So north of Earlham, that warning goes until 4:15, but this really has not weakened that much. I Avenue, H Avenue, G Trail is where we're seeing that main area of rotation work its way through. 335th Place, eventually Indian Trail, this up towards K Avenue. That's the main area of circulation, and this is where we're continuing to see reports of even spotters, fire department officials spotting this tornado and tracking it as it works its way through. So other areas of rotation south of Earlham still, that working its way up towards DeSoto. That's south of I-80, but again, we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's a little bit weaker and a little bit more broad, but again, as we've talked about in the past with how low the cloud bases are, it doesn't take much to get that rotation down to the ground. So even if the rotation is a little bit weaker, which is what we're seeing in this case, it still could be possible that we could get a tornado down there. So I'm going to zoom back out. Looks like we've got a new warning just to the northwest of Ames now. So I'm going to zoom in on that one. And you can see Ann's been talking about these quite a bit, multiple areas of rotation. Main one appears to be southeast of Dayton at this point. So we've got destructive winds through Dayton, through Gowrie at this point, heading their way through 169. I want to hop over to radar here, get a clear indication of what we're working with. A cluster of storms with very strong winds pushing their way in. And as we look at velocities here, you can just see all these little kind of eddies that are working their way on through. That's what we're kind of keeping an eye on here. But some of these areas of rotation, again, one of the main ones right now is southwest of Stratford. So Stratford, make sure you are in your lowest level of your house, most interior room, as this area of rotation just weakened a little bit. But again, it's not taking much today to get these to actually make their way down to the ground. This is going to be working its way further northeast. Stanhope, you better be in that safe space. It's going to be crossing over Highway 17. We zoom in a little bit further, Highway 175. So again, just a very, very strong line of storms. And all of those storms, for the most part, are spinning. Ridgeport, this is working its way through town right now. I'm going to put a track on this one as I zoom out a little bit. Boxholm, strongest is just to the east of you, but you have got some very strong and destructive storms that are right on the edge of you. Jefferson, again, you've seen that storm start to work its way through as well. You're kind of on the back edge of that now, but really heavy rain, the potential for hail associated with that, all of those storms continuing to the northeast. So as I hop back over, I want to flip between a couple tools here. Because as we've talked about with our debris tracker, sometimes that can pick up things that have been thrown into the air. Gives us a clearer indication of where some of these tornadoes are, especially in a situation where you've got messy storms like this and you've got multiple different areas of rotation. So I'm going to pick out the tightest area of rotation here, and I'm going to put a storm track on it for you. As we've seen, again, with the storms to the south, doesn't take much. So pardon me while I handle my radar here, but sometimes it can be a little jumpy on me when I don't mean it to be. So again, that area of rotation, oh boy, just to the north of Boone here. Oh, I got it. Here we go. I got to redeem myself now, you know. So we've got this, Camrar, you got 2 minutes. Blairsburg, 11 minutes. Williams, 16 minutes. Dow's coming in at 27 minutes. Iowa Falls, 33 minutes. Coulter, 36 minutes. Latimer, you got 38 minutes. So again, a lot of different areas of circulation on that line. And even if it's not circulating, we have got the wind on this. I don't mean to sound like Arby's, but you can see the strong winds that are pushing their way through right now, working their way up towards Iowa Falls. So multiple areas of rotation there, but the wind threat is real as well. So let's go back out statewide. Again, we have just got an incredible situation unfolding to the south here, making its way in towards the metro. I don't see how we make it out of this one through central portions of the state and into the metro without seeing at least some tornadic activity with this blob of rotating storms that we have working their way in. So you can see every piece of that line right now appears to be rotating. As we go to our shear tracker here, all of those little bits have been rotating. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit further here, and I want to hop between a couple different tools that we have. I may actually switch to a different radar and see if it gives us a little bit clearer of an indication of some of these. Let's go back over here, KCCI, and let's see what it's showing us too. If I can actually get it to pop up, that would be a wonderful thing. So it is showing quite a bit of rotation working its way through right now. A little bit messier, but still things that we're going to have to keep an eye on in the next 20 minutes or so here. Strong winds. You can see that couplet near Murray right now. That's pushing to the northeast as we hop over to our shear tool. You can see, again, that coincides with one of those spots where we're seeing that little bit of rotation. So, again, a little bit messier. Some of these areas of rotation aren't quite as strong as we saw previously, but with so many of these storms rotating, it's important to keep an eye on all of them as we have got a situation where, again, it's not going to take much effort to get these to the ground. So, East Piru, you got 7 minutes. Truro, you're talking 8 minutes. St. Charles, 15 minutes. Bevington, 20 minutes. Martinsdale, you're coming in at 23 minutes. Cumming, 30 minutes. Indianola coming in at 31 minutes. And you can see what we've been working with today. Again, you can see a little, well, I can't put my hand over that screen, but you can see that little tube coming down to the ground. Again, we've had some fairly large stovepipe tornadoes. Some people call elephant trunk tornadoes, but still dealing with that situation. And we work south of Creston, and we're still seeing some rotation. You can see that just to the northeast of 169 right now. So I'm going to put another storm track on that one. I'm trying to hit all of these guys, and I know that we have got a lot of different areas that are being impacted, and I'm trying to take my time to make sure that everybody knows when that area or that dangerous part of the storm is going to make its way your direction, because, guys, every single one of you are important to us. That's the truth right there. Murray, you're talking 20 minutes. Osceola, 26 minutes. Woodburn coming in at 33 minutes. And we've got New Virginia at 36 minutes. Lucas coming in at 40 minutes. So, again, that line continuing to work its way up to the metro. And you can see upwards towards Perry, that storm that's continuing to work its way through too. So, Ann, I'm going to toss it back over to you here. Again, we've had just an incredible line of storms that has been working its way through. So, pretty difficult situation starting to work its way into the metro.
Right, getting closer to the metro area. I did want to point out, though, we've got some stronger winds as we've had all day long, but this is down into Madison County, just north of Winterset, where we've queried just a few of these pixels, and we've got winds upwards of 65, 70 miles per hour. But at times, and if I zoom in here, it'll probably work for us, where we have just those darker blues there that you see, those at one point upwards of 80 miles per hour. So we've had some really strong wind gusts right here within this cell, and that's been the case for a lot of these severe storms that have come through the area. So I'll zoom back out here. I'll show you some other spots where we've got those very strong winds. So in addition to the potential for some spinning inside of these storms, we've got the wind gusts upwards of 70, 80 miles per hour. Where you see those brighter blues there, those are the areas where we have those stronger winds. So not only in Madison County, as you head into Clark County, into western portions of Clark County near Osceola, we've got some very strong winds down there. Also, you are in that tornado warning. So just stay in the lowest level of your home until the tornado warning expires, until the storm passes, and that way you're safe and you're away from the danger, because there's a potential, again, for these storms to be picking up stuff and blowing it around. Even if we don't have reports of that, doesn't mean it isn't happening right now. As we mentioned, hard to see because we have torrential downpours, lots of lightning, and lots of thunder as well within these cells. So we've got gusts potentially 70 miles per hour here just to the east of Lorimore in Clark County, north of Murray. So all of these storms have been producing, or at least most of them have been producing similar wind gusts. We still have those same areas of rotation, basically just up and down this line. Up near Winterset into Madison County, you head back down towards Osceola, out towards Creston.